all the development and all. And if something else comes up, then we'll have to quickly go back and then prioritize. And that is what Agile is. But sometimes it goes out of hand. So
Mm.
completely achieving that is not possible. If people would achieve that completely, then I think it would be great. But sometimes, some slip ups happen.
Okay, okay. Because generally some people were found saying in that way, right? It's not possible to make it 100%.
Yeah,
I was just curious about that.
yeah.
And this mentioned somewhere, should once it starts, the project starts, then nobody should be forcing it on the developers, and that is also not possible in the real scenario. Right?
Forcing the developers to.
I mean, change the milestones or make it fast or slow or something like that. Those
Oh,
days it was, yeah, they were talking that way.
okay, so these discussions usually happens with the whole Scrum team. So it is in the developer's hand to tell that the complexity of this work would require, more time or resources. Or since it is complex, this can be achieved in so and so time. Actually, in Scrum, we don't see time; we see the complexity of the work. So developers do have a say in that, and also product owner also will have a discussion with the stakeholders and developers and scrum masters, so everybody is involved. And that is what the Scrum is, right? It is very open, flexible.
Hmm. Okay, okay, got it. Yeah. So Amin and Vasudevan has joined. Hi, Amin, Vasudev.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, maybe we can start now. Yeah,
Oh,
Vasudev, you're talking something?
I'm audible? Hello?
Yeah, you're audible with a lot of noise background. Okay, maybe he's in some other place. So, fine. Let's start then.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
get
sorry
started.
for that. Actually,
Oh, now Vasudev is audible.
Actually, I'm working from office, so I may not be actually involved in complete work, but I can listen and then I can chat. Keep going.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What I have for you today is I'll define what is Agile Scrum. I'll tell what are all the roles and artifacts and all the jargons that are used in Scrum, and we'll see how a Scrum works, like the workflow of it. Agile Scrum, it is a popular framework that is within Agile methodology. Actually, Agile is a whole umbrella and it has so many other methodologies, and Scrum is one of them. So, Scrum focuses on iterative and incremental delivery of a product. So, basically, a Scrum is that which organizes work into short time boxed periods. This is called as a sprint, and the sprint can depend on your work. It can last from 1 week to 4 weeks or something. So one is the minimum. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let's discuss about the Scrum roles, who are all involved in this Scrum. The first one is product owner. The role of the product owner is to ensure the team builds most valuable features, and product owners is always in touch with the stakeholders and the customers. Next comes the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master basically facilitates the Scrum process and ensures that everybody is adhering to the practices. And if there are any obstacles, the Scrum Master can help people to know how to resolve them. Instead of doing that for them, It's just like facilitating, and then supports the team to achieve the goals. Next comes the development team. So in the development team, we have a set of self-organizing group professionals who are cross-functional. Like they have the knowledge on basically almost all the things: testing, development, documentation, and all. And these are the ones who will build the increments, product increments in each sprint. Now coming to the Scrum artifacts. First, we have product backlog. So this is a prioritized list of features and changes and bug fixes and all that are needed in the product. And this is managed by the product owner. So the product owner has a discussion with the stakeholders and customers, and we have a product backlog as the output of it. And in this product backlog, the product owner then prioritizes all the things. Then we have sprint backlog. This is like the subset of product backlog. So basically, we keep like in the sprint backlog, we have stories and all that can be taken up in a sprint, and it includes a plan to deliver the sprint goal. Next comes an increment. Increment is a potentially usable version of the product that is the result of a sprint. So at the end of the sprint, you'll get one increment. It is like a slice of the product. Then comes, okay, let's discuss the Scrum events. The first is sprint planning. The whole the whole Scrum team comes together and they do sprint planning. So in the sprint planning, what they do is they pick up items from the backlog and add it to the sprint. And they also define a sprint goal. So all the items in the sprint should be as such that they are contributing to achieve the sprint goal. Then comes daily Scrum. It is like a stand-up meeting for 15 minutes. In that, everybody discusses what they're doing, the progress of it, and if they have any obstacles and how are they dealing with it. All that, minimal and openly they discuss everything. And then comes sprint review. So at the end of the sprint, we have a review meeting where they review or demo all the things that they have achieved in the sprint to the stakeholders and customers. Then at the last, we have sprint retrospective. So in retrospective, you reflect on how your previous sprint had went and what could be done better. So what should we start doing? What should we continue doing? What should we stop doing? And also, if you have to give, I mean, if you're grateful to someone who has helped, we also have an accolades or that section where you can specify that you're thankful that so and so person helped me with. It's basically like a boost to the Scrum team. So these are all the jargons that are important. Now let's go through the agile workflow. First is product backlog refinement. So this is done by the product owner. When you have all the features, he prioritizes which feature you have to achieve first, which one you have to build first, and he does the refinement of the product backlog. Next, um, we have sprint backlog refinement also. So from the product backlog, if we are selecting one feature, that feature is broken down into user stories. So several user stories, you can define the story points for it. So for each user story, what you are trying to tell is the complexity of the story. For suppose, if you think one work is very complex and it might take a lot of effort, then you are giving the maximum story points to that story. Now, in this case, what happens is your sprint is time boxed, and if your story is very complex, you can break it down into sub stories. So that is very helpful because if you do not achieve that story point in one sprint, then you will have to carry it forward to the next sprint. In that way, your velocity is a measure of the work that team can handle in future sprint. So the if for suppose if your velocity in one sprint is achieving 20 story points, but you have a very complex task whose story points is 8 or 10, and you could not achieve that, then the whole story you have to move it to the next sprint. So the current velocity of your active sprint will go down. So in that case, if you have the complexity defined of a story, you can then I mean the product owner, scrum master, and the whole team can decide, and they can break down the stories into small achievable chunks. So you do that in sprint planning. So you plan for a sprint and you pick up the stories from the sprint backlog, and you also define a sprint goal. So all the stories that you have picked up in sprint planning should add on to achieve the sprint goal. Next comes the actual sprint. So the sprint execution is for depending on the work, but it should be always the same for each sprint, 1 to 4 weeks. For suppose if you have 3 weeks of duration, so in those 3 weeks you'll try to achieve the sprint goal and finish the stories. Okay, now you have increment delivery. So as I said, the increment is a small chunk of the product that you can deliver that is reusable, that if the product owner or stakeholder or customer wants to use it, they can implement it in their product. So that is what you will be showcasing in this sprint delivery after end of each sprint. So the team delivers a usable and potentially releasable increment of the product. Then comes sprint review. In this, the team demonstrates the completed work to the stakeholders and receives feedback. So feedback is very important here, because I think this is the key to all this agile scrum. Because in other methodology, if you see waterfall and all, you won't know the risk at the beginning or in between. You'll get to know it at the end, because you don't get feedback as and when you need it. So scrum is really helpful in that way, because you get the feedback from the customers or stakeholders as and when one sprint is done. Then using that feedback, you can adjust the product backlog again, prioritize or remove or add. And then comes a retrospective. So in this team reflects and they identify what was good in the current sprint, what didn't work for them, and what actions can be taken to improve the next sprint. Uh, Here are the Scrum values, that is commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage. So you have to be committed to your work. You have to focus on that. In the daily scrum, you discuss about it. So there's openness. Respect is that if you have some other opinions, then you can, share it with the team, and you should have courage to do that. So you should respect each other's opinion. There is one thing known as definition of done, that is a commitment. So it is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. So when you see an increment, it should meet the definition of done. Those are like the basic standards that are set by the organization that it should meet. Okay. So this is about the Scrum, Agile Scrum, and you can also go through the Scrum guide, which is available online. And if you see the index, you'll find all the things that I explained and much more in detail. You'll have definition and theory and values, and also everything in detail. What happens at each stage, and why every item in the workflow is important. Yep, that's it I had.
That was
Yeah.
a really nice
Mm.
presentation.
It's a nice introduction. And Katsya, can you two questions? One is, can you think about a particular hypothetical or actual situation and explain how it went using the whatever you showed, no? All those points, how it was done. That is one thing. And another is for our use case in the our project, how we can implement on this one. So yeah, if any input on that, yeah, it should be nice. So
Okay.
finally, we need to implement on this one. No? Yeah.
Okay.
First is my question is like if you have any
Yeah, I
actual or hypothetical situation, yeah, was there.
Okay.
was actually
So okay, someone else is
yeah,
speaking.
wanted to ask this question. Sorry, was here. Suppose as Manoj was saying, for a given task, how will we, formulate these stories? And basically, I want to understand what will be the responsibilities of Scrum Master. Really, is it like a team one where we sit and decide the chunk of the story points? What is the achievable chunk? Someone will decide that whether if someone is saying that this is my story point, whether it will be as accepted as it is, or it is user review, what kind of a process will define that story point is.
Uh, I didn't get your question, but okay. I what I heard is the role. What is the role of Scrum Master? And the next is how do you define the story points, right?
Yeah, am I audible? Was it clear?
You are,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
this might be.
it's
Vasudev, actually, you are not clear. Actually, we can hear you, but it's not clear. I don't know. It's because of your headphone or something. It's not clear
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all.
Talking shit. Okay, okay. If it is, yeah, that is a that understanding is correct. Yes. How
okay.
to?
Okay. So, Manoj, I remember first question of yours. You wanted a hypothetical situation, right? For suppose we are developing a mobile application, and in that mobile
I'm sorry,
application,
Kadisha, can you show that again the screen? It will be helpful then,
yeah, yeah, sure, okay,
and explain on based on that. No?
okay. For suppose you are trying to design, sorry, the requirement is to get a mobile application, which is like a social media app. So you have many features in that, right? You have your own feed, you can create your account, you can make it private or public or something like that. So all that is discussed with the product owner, and he discusses it with the stakeholders and customers. So they'll say that these are the requirements and we need it. So what does the product owner do is he creates a backlog, and in that he prioritizes the features that are to be implemented in that mobile application. So let's take user profile as the first feature, and for suppose messaging system as the second one. So user profile as a feature, it is huge, but that is prioritized in the product backlog. Now you come to the sprint backlog. In this, for user profile, maybe you are dividing it into subtask. One should register, one should log in, one should be able to change their information, one should be able to upload pictures, something like that. So you have simple things in the stories. Now you pick up the stories. For suppose um, you have this authentication or verification. Let's take the verification of user while registering for the first time is a complex task. No, it is not, but let's take that it is a complex task. So what they do is you break that task into subtasks and you define the complexity of the story. And that complexity is a story point, and that is also decided by the team. So for suppose if you say that maybe this feature can take us since it is very complex, it might drag to 2 3 sprints. Now you are not definitively telling how much time it would take, but you're telling that it is complex. So you're assigning the maximum story points. The maximum story points, the minimum and maximum, and the in between is also discussed with the team. For suppose if it is a very simple task and you think you can finish it um in 1 2 days or 1 week, something very simple that is very achievable. Now you are not tying it to the time it takes, but the complexity of it. I know this is a very confusing point to make about the story points and it being based on complexity and not time, but I think that is the main thing that the whole team should understand, and based on that you will be able to further divide your work. So in sprint planning, for suppose if you are taking the user profile feature and you have many stories in it and many sub stories, if you're actually you don't have something like sub story, maybe you can have a sub task in that story. But if that story is too huge, you can break it into several stories. So one basic unit you are picking up is one story, and in that you can add subtasks. Now, the developers, the ones who will be executing the sprint, a story is not owned by a person. So since you have subtasks in that story, for suppose I am doing the registration part, Manoj, you are doing the login part. So we can assign that sub story to our name. So in a way, we all are trying to, collaboratively trying to achieve the sprint goal, that is user profile, building user profile or something. This is what we demonstrate at the end of the sprint to the stakeholders. Now, this is a slice that if they want to use it, they'll be able to use it in their product. It's not tied to any other thing. So that is what is incremental delivery about. And retrospective. For suppose I had issues with my virtual machine where I was trying to build my part of the story, sorry, the product, and I have some user constraint, like I am not able to open something in administrator, something is blocking. So that I can discuss in the retrospective, that I face so and so problem. So we have to take care that whenever VMs are commissioned, we should have so and so permissions prior to that. So these are the problems that you discuss in retrospective. So what went well, what can be done better, what are the action items for the next sprint. uh, is Manoj, does that answer your first question?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
The second question I forgot.
Meantime, Aman has hand raised. Maybe.
Sorry, it was done by mistake. I'm really sorry.
Okay,
No problem.
I remember Vasudevan's question. One is, what is the role of Scrum Master? Now, see, it is very subjective, I must say. So the Scrum Master doesn't get actually involved in, you know, helping you out uh, himself, but the Scrum Master should show you the direction. Um, I had an example in mind. I kind of forgot. Wait, let me think about it. So basically, if you're stuck somewhere, now I am also a developer and Scrum Master, so that line kind of gets erased. But as a Scrum Master alone, what he should do is he should direct that person to resolve that issue. So suppose I have told, right, if you have some permissions issues and all, so you have to contact the IT team. Now the Scrum Master doesn't do it for you, but they ask you to do it. So this is how it is resolved. And let us take another example of retrospective. Now, some people in the team might not want to attend retrospective, right? They'll be like, oh, this is a waste of time. We don't get anything. We're not, anyways. I don't think people will implement those action items anyway. Some people might be thinking in that way. So, Scrum Master responsibility is to let them know why a retrospective is important and why we should be doing that, and all the other elements of this agile scrum, right? Sprint planning, daily scrum, retrospective. So this is what the scrum master does. Like, he or she lets you know the importance, and makes you see why you should be doing, and see to it that you are doing it in the right way possible. That is the role of
Yeah.
scrum master. And I forgot his second question.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I understood.
What was your second question, Vasudevan?
Uh, Today I was asking whether if Scrum Master says this is the story point, this can be the story point list he has, whether that will be approved by product owner or
So
some stakeholders.
basically, okay, as a scrum team, you have to try to achieve the increment. Now, if one person says that this doesn't look right, then you have to have a discussion around it. No one can, you know, dismiss your work. You should meet the definition of done. That is the basic standard that is set. And after that, you can have open discussions on it. So, and it should be also approved by the product owner, because he has the initial plan, and the basic idea of what is required, right? So this is discussed in the daily scrums, in the sprint planning, and everywhere possible. It's not like the product owner will just join in the sprint planning and then come back in retro or review. He should, and he must take part in all the daily scrum, and see that people are actually working towards the sprint goal, which indeed is a work towards the main goal, the feature. Does that answer it?
Yeah, yeah. And I have another couple of questions. Like, so what will be the tester role and where this testers will come here? Right? If the developers are developing and whether testing will also parallel happening. And if it is happening,
Yes.
suppose that any bugs is coming up, so where that will get accommodated. I know that you are saying some backlogs, and that goes to backlog. How does that flow?
See, when you're telling that you have to achieve, you have to deliver an increment. In that increment, you include the testing of it, the documentation if you want to, the development, everything. Now you can't just hand over a feature to your stakeholders which is not tested, right? So you have to include testing that is done continuously during the sprint. And that is why an increment is known as something which is usable, a slice of product that is usable and releasable. So testing and documentation which is flexible, um, all this happens in a sprint. And that is when you meet the definition of done of an increment.
Okay. And what is it, the product owners or the one who gives the requirements or what whether he will owns the product, whatever that they're developing. So he will be like a kind of end user or he will be like a business person who will be giving the requirements for the team.
Okay. So I think the product owner has to be part of the team, but he represents the stakeholder or customer. So he or she, sorry, gets the requirement from the stakeholders, and should be able to convey it to the team. And conveying as in, when you prioritize the product backlog, when you create user stories, you should be the product owner should be able to tell that this story will be done when this is achieved. You can have the discussion, like all the team members and product owners can have a discussion around it, about the complexity and whether it is achievable or not. uh, but the product owner should also be involved in these discussions, representing the stakeholders and customers. So he'll be responsible to show it to them, right? That this is achieved. So he or she should first have a clear picture of what is needed and should be able to convey it to the team and see to it that it is getting achieved.
Okay.
Do you have any more doubts? You,
Okay, so that's here. Then, yeah, you're saying something.
yeah, you all can go through this Scrum guide. You can find it online, and you can find the details of who does what and when it should be done and why it should be done and all that. I thought this was, very basic because you have different trainings for product owner, for Scrum Master, and all in this Agile Scrum, and that goes on for 2 days or however they set your training for. So I think there is a lot that you all can learn, but this is the basic structure of a Scrum and the practices that take place.
Okay, so this position, Scrum Master, that person is single, or is it multiple people will be there, or what's there's some rules for that, right?
Yeah,
Product owner and yeah.
as far as I know, a Scrum Master should be a single person, and the developers can be cross-functional. Product owner also should be single. As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe we should Google about it.
Okay, okay. Let me check also. Meantime,
Yeah.
Google Gemini might help. Product owner. This Scrum and Agile is same thing, or?
Agile is like an umbrella. It has many other things. Something known as lean methodology. You might have heard of Kanban. Now, I don't know what
Hmm.
that is, but there are many other things. The Scrum came into picture, I think, because they were focusing on lean thinking and mostly the customer, how to, get feedback and all. Lean thinking is like increasing your value and decreasing wastage. So wastage are of 7 types. I think you can Google about it. Basically, like transportation waste, over producing waste.
So
Mhm.
QJ, this
That's
method
what
was
I remember about it.
okay. QJ, this method was implemented by Toyota first, right?
Yeah.
So the Gemini is saying in some cases can have multiple POs, product owners, right?
Okay.
But generally it is one.
You can also, um, for suppose if you have multiple product owners, maybe they are dealing with different parts of your product. Maybe if you have one product owner for one front end, other is for back end. I don't know how that works though, because you have to deliver something that is, a slice of product.
Okay. Generally, Scrum Master should be single. In case multiple can be considered very large team, distributed system, specialized roles. So again, I'm just missing it. Product owner is one who is giving the direction and who is the requirement analysis, everything done, right?
Yes.
And Scrum Master is one who will be helping the team, right?
Yeah.
So he's not developer.
Yeah, in most
And
cases, Scrum Master is dedicated to see to it that they are following this Scrum methodology. But like I said, I am a developer and Scrum Master, so that line kind of fades. So
Hmm.
you have
So in
job
your
roles uh,
hmm.
that are focused for Scrum Master only. Like they don't help in any development, but they are there to see that you are following the right things, like a
Okay,
coach or facilitator. Yeah.
okay. Mhm. And product owner is basically the technical guy who is understanding the dealing with the stakeholder and coming with the stories and all right.
Yeah.
He would be making the stories.
Yeah.
And who is making the sprints? He will be making the sprints also, or
The Scrum Master can actually we have the sprint planning meeting, right? So in that the whole team discusses and we just pull the stories from backlog to sprint. Making the sprint, you can leave it to the Scrum Master. Sprint, you can decide how much duration you want it, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So that is also taken care by the Scrum Master. And defining the goal, everybody should be involved in that. So for suppose you have tools for uh, achieving this, right? We use Jira. So in that you have some privileges, set privileges that you'll get if you are a product owner. Like if your story is done, you approach the product owner, we do a demo, and if he thinks it meets the definition of done with all the others, then only he can be uh, able to move that task or story to done. Others cannot do it. Like my work is done, I can just move it to done. No. So the product owner does that. Similarly, Scrum Master has the privilege to start the sprint or close the sprint. Start when it starts and close when you are completing the duration of 3 or 4 weeks, whatever is decided. Other developers might not have these permissions in the tools that we use, like in Jira.
hmm.
You
In
can also
Jira there
use
is
Trello. Yes,
Jira. Sorry, no, this Jira. I think there is some freeware for the community development, no? Open source.
I'm not sure about that, but I've seen that Trello is free.
Trello is also limited for the free version. There's a paid version which is also. Let me just check Jira pricing for community. Okay. So you are familiar with Jira, right?
Yeah. It says the free version is available for small teams up to 10 users for
Mm-hmm.
Jira.
That's a good one. No? We can use that one, right?
Yeah.
I think how many people are here? I mean, only three people, you, me, and Aman is there, right? Maybe
Yeah.
hardly somebody will be there. Jira is actually for this Scrum thing, or
You can have Kanban also in. I'm telling you what I've seen. So Scrum, Kanban. I don't know if you can do other.
no, no, I mean, for this Scrum Agile, we can use Jira, right?
Yes, yes, we can do that.
Or Scrum. Yeah. Yeah, we can think about Jira. And yeah. Is it complicated, or how is it?
It's fine once you get the hang of it. Depends on which role you're playing. Manoj, if you're the product owner, then you'll have to create the features, the stories, decide on
Mm.
the definition of done. Yeah. Because the developers,
Mhm.
they'll be like, to do, in progress, done. And
Mm,
add
mm, mm,
comments,
mm.
obviously. But
Okay. Maybe we have to discuss on how to, for our case, how many small tasks will be there. And people are happy if they get a small task. So we need to check it out how to. So what do you think? How we can go forward with our open source this one?
maybe we can um, have another meeting to try it out, like just hands on. for people to try and get
Mm.
a sense of what is happening, how it works. And then from the
Yeah, yeah.
next meeting of it, like it's the pre-planning and planning for sprint. We can do that for learning Jira and how to use it.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we
And
will have another meeting for, yeah. Mm. This project will be really very, very big. If we don't have a control of it, we may not. I mean, it will get stuck somewhere here and there. No, so like this, if we can make a small task and define what is done, then we know we are progressing and what, right?
yeah,
That's good one. Mm. Nice one. Yeah. Okay, fine. I think any questions, anyone?
Not right now.
Uh, okay.
okay. Maybe we can
Vasudev, you're
discuss in the
from
group.
which? I think Vasudev, are you there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
audible.
Yeah,
Am I
you're
audible?
hardly audible here. Okay. Mhm. You're from
Yeah.
which side?
See,
You're a software developer or this one data scientist? Or...
yeah, yeah. See, I work as a data analyst in a public sector bank, State Bank of India.
Ah, okay, okay.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you're a data analyst, right? That's good.
Data analyst.
And which tools are you using? Python or something or what? Power BI?
We use actually primarily work on the data warehouse. This Spark, Hadoop,
On Databricks?
Kibana. Database are yet to come. That on-premise this Cloudera tool there. Cloudera.
I'm not getting you actually. Yeah. Maybe we can meet up later then.
No, big data. I am saying on-premise big data. I'm working on cloud
Oh,
data
okay.
warehouse, and we are working on Spark and then Kibana. That for that work we have Kibana, Cosmos, IBM Cosmos, and Tableau to some extent. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
this is a bank where we are using multiple products tools we are using.
Okay. Fine, fine. Good, good. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, Kadish, Katsia. Actually, I'm sorry again, I'm spelling wrong. And everyone joined. Mm. Let's think
Uh,
about it, and
uh,
yeah, we'll meet it again for our particular use case, how to go forward.
Thank you all. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.